Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the newest Blu-ray release from the fine folks over at Vinegar Syndrome. This is for the early 80s slasher movie, Graduation Day. And Graduation Day is one of those lesser-known, more obscure early 80s slasher movies that kind of got lost in the shuffle amid the barrage of slasher movies that were being released at that time. And Herb Fried, actually, the director of the film, recalls that during that time, Graduation Day opened between Friday the 13th Part 2 and Happy Birthday to Me, and that literally every weekend a slasher movie was being released. So, I mean, those were definitely the days. I first came across Graduation Day on VHS many years ago, and at first glance, it seemed like just, you know, a run-of-the-mill early 80s slasher movie, just trying to cash in on, you know, the slasher trend that Halloween and Friday the 13th had really established in that era. And really nothing stood out about the film to me aside from the fact that Linnea Quigley, a very young, beautiful Linnea Quigley, is in the film, and Vanna White is actually in the film as well. Came across the film many years later on a Troma DVD, and it kind of turned into a guilty pleasure kind of movie. When I wanted that early 80s slasher feel, I would reach for Graduation Day every now and again and pop it in and watch it and just have a good time with it. The story revolves around this real ball-busting track and field coach, played by Christopher George from The Beyond and Pieces, who pushes his star athletes to the absolute brink. And he actually pushes his best track star to the point where shortly after finishing a race, she falls over dead of a heart attack. Well, not long after that, a killer shows up and all the star athletes at this high school are being picked off one by one. It's a murder mystery slasher movie, very typical of the time, which, you know, just everybody is a red herring. The killer wears a certain pair of black leather gloves, so of course everybody in the town has the exact same pair of black leather gloves. The killer uses a switchblade on one of his victims, so of course somebody has got a switchblade just like it. The killer wears a gray jogging suit, and of course everybody's got a gray jogging suit just like it as well. So, I mean, just the red herrings go on and on and on. What I really took from the movie after the last time that I watched it, there's some things that stand out about this slasher movie, I think. One is just the stylistic choices by the director Herb Fried. The way the film is edited, and especially the opening sequences, the way that it's really cut together, and the sound design as well, really works in the film's favor. There's also some use of slow motion in the film that actually works pretty well. So, I mean, you've got some stylistic choices going on in this film that you didn't see in really very many, if any, early 80s slasher movies that I can recall. The movie's got a great cast. I mean, Christopher George, George Pataki is in the film. He plays the high school principal. He's just wacky out there. Oh goodness, what is Patch McKenzie is in the film. Does an excellent job. Like I said, we've got a very young, beautiful Linnea Quigley in the film. Vanna White has a small part in the film as well. We've got a good cast. We've got some crazy characters in the film. The music teacher, the lecherous music teacher. Yeah, great addition there to the film. So we've got a good cast. We've got some interesting characters in the film. We've got a lot of kills, but unfortunately, the kills in the film, you know, they don't really, they're not that great. I mean, considering that the early 80s was really the age of, you know, Savini as special effects guy with Friday the 13th and The Burning and all those films. The special effects in the film, the kills in the film definitely are not on that level whatsoever. The identity of the killer, even though there's just red herrings out the wazoo, the identity of the killer is pretty obvious really from the word go, to be honest. But that doesn't really detract from the film. And I have to say Graduation Day is still, you know, one of those kind of guilty pleasure early 80s slasher movies. It's very early 80s. Very early 80s. This may be the most early 80s slasher movie that there is. I mean, the style, you know, the clothing in the film, the hair, everything about it, very, very 80s. But the bottom line is, it's just a lot of fun. It's super sleazy, lots of gratuitous nudity in the film. Like I said, you know, just, you know, out there, crazy characters. Just an overall fun early 80s slasher movie, and one that I think definitely deserves to be seen. The Blu-ray itself, Vinegar Syndrome did a phenomenal job with this movie. It is a 4K restoration, and I gotta say, it looks phenomenal. There's a couple of rough sequences in the film, but overall, I was really, really pleasantly surprised with the picture and the sound quality of the film, considering that, you know, I had the old Troma DVD, which looked, I mean, which looked frankly like crap. The picture quality, the sound quality on this is absolutely top-notch. Was really, really pleasantly surprised with the picture quality in particular with this release. We've got some video interviews, one with Herb Fried, a very nice one with Herb Fried, where he basically says, you know, directing a film is the most fun one can have with their clothes on. We also have an interview with the producer, David Bond. Pretty interesting interview with him, where he talks about how he first got into the business as a distributor and, you know, working as a distributor and then becoming a producer. Pretty interesting interview with him. Really enjoyed it. We also have an interview with the editor, Martin J. Sadoff, who, if that name sounds familiar to you, he was the 3D supervisor on Friday the 13th Part 3, and he edited Friday the 13th Part 7. There's also an interview with the star, Patch McKenzie. There's also 2 commentary tracks that I did not watch, but I will say that I did not take part in or listen to. But I will say that the interviews on the disc were all pretty good, I have to say. And again, I mean, the restoration, the picture quality on this, the 4K scan, really, it really blew me away, to be perfectly honest, considering that it was an early 80s slasher movie, shot on the cheap. It looks phenomenal. Vinegar Syndrome did a fantastic job with this restoration. If you're a fan of Graduation Day, or if it's one of those early 80s slasher movies that you've just not had a chance to get your hands on, now is the time to pick this up. This is a must if you're a fan of the film. Or if it's one of those, you know, like I said, obscure slasher movies from the 80s that you've wanted to see but just couldn't track down. This is the edition to get. Like I said, awesome picture quality, awesome sound quality, good special features, and a pretty fun overall early 80s slasher movie with all the fun little earmarks of early 80s slasher movies. It's sleazy, it's gratuitous, it's a lot of fun, just a lot of fun. So yeah, if you've seen Graduation Day, please let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I'll put a link to Vinegar Syndrome's website in the description below, and go over, check them out, and pick up your own copy of Graduation Day there. And until next time, you guys take it easy. Peace.